Tomas, you want to start?
Good. Hi, I'm Joy Whitert. I'm in the Department of Pediatrics. And my interest for quite a few years has been with vitamin D and levels and how that correlates with health and disease in children. So that's not something that we have measured consistently in children. Usually we wait until there's a disease process, but the idea of should we start looking at those more consistently in general health.
Dr. Jim Vasek, who's a cardiologist, has just done a vitamin D project looking at vitamin D in all of the MAC cardiology patients and correlating it with mortality, cardiovascular mortality. And he would be the one to talk about the methodology about how to do that. How they did, it will have to work with the hospital laboratory as far as the measurement of the vitamin Ds. And so if you wanted to do something with the database already there. How about this table? Who wants to talk? So quiet. Okay.
We were just discussing that perhaps the explanation is how much time you need to be on service during clinical time and how you divide the year, how many weeks you can take off to dedicate exclusively to projects, and at the same time you need to go to national conferences and things like that that are also time consuming. So at the beginning of the time you are new here, it's very hard to put all those things together.
Well, we're hoping that the mentoring resources will help that. Any comments from our pediatric colleagues here?
We were talking about the requirement that residents all have to participate in a QA project, and they're very variable. And the challenge we have with, you may set a month that they're going to do that, and things haven't gotten through the IRB in time, so now you have a wasted month. But the importance of maybe over a semester on a rotation like hematology oncology, that the 5 residents assigned each work on it over a semester. One does project preparation, one does data gathering, one does analysis, one does teaching, and one closes the loop, that together they've done a project and using residents as part of the resource because it's a requirement for them from the ACGME.
I think that's a fantastic idea. I mean, that's why we just have to be thoughtful about how we can overcome the obstacles of data information. Any comment from this table?
Well, so we needed more time to discuss. We were talking about Mohammed Taha's projects with the health of the public students and, looking in a descriptive way at studying the follow-up phone call after discharge, to find out what do patients question. Are they questioning medications, questioning follow-up, that sort of thing, to try to understand with a longer-term aim of wanting an intervention that would impact 30-day readmission and that, those great big outcomes, but that before you can go after those, you have to go after littler, more descriptive data.
But it's still scholarship. I mean, that's the point. It's still scholarship. It's discovery of some information that you didn't have before. Comments from this table?
Well, I think that's a really important piece that we didn't talk about was having smaller parts to your bigger overall writing theme so that you're not going, as family docs, we go in so many different directions all the time, and it makes it seem like you don't really have a career path. So if you could break it down, chunk it into smaller pieces, I think that's helpful.
Well, this, again, is where a mentor should be helping, to do just what it needs to be done. Smaller incremental steps. We're not curing cancer here, and we're not writing articles that are going to be published, maybe, in the New England Journal of Medicine, first off. This table want to say something?
Well, I've been working with Sue pretty closely here, and this is trying to get, I think our division director says, make it count twice, whatever you're doing. And I'm a medical director with O2 and as with pneumonia core measures as well. So we have before and after data for these interventions that we have implemented after we started O2. We saw a dip in our compliance. So we did these interventions, and then Sue helped me look at it and decide, did we want to describe our interventions or did we want to describe them as themes that could be used in other quality improvement projects? So that's kind of where we're at right now, and working on the abstracts finished, but working on the actually using the Square guidelines to develop the paper. And that came from the JCO Journal of Quality, which I've looked at it, and it's fabulous. So this is definitely working.
And the only chair in the room? Do you want to comment?
I'm not the only one. Surely not.
We always need a chair.
Well, I laud what Sue and Medicine's doing. I mean, I think this is a great thing. Only thing I would tell you, and it's what I tell all my faculty, but I can't mentor them anymore because I'm a chair. They tell me I can't do that, so I have to mentor outside of my department. Document, document, document. I like counting twice. You have to document. You may not think it's important. You might think, oh, I just did this. But if you write it down and put it in there, you're going to get promoted. But if you don't document, you won't get promoted because you've got to do it. I like the definition of scholarship that you've used. I personally agree with it. And it's the way to, I like the getting their feet wet. The only question I have on the quality improvement, I always try to figure ways of working around the processes. You might try in medicine to have a generic QI protocol that is approved, and then all you're adding is an addendum, which is de-identified data. I'm just showing you something that I would do. And then you would just have to go through and say, this is our new product, it's exempt, and it would speed up a lot of that QI work. So that would be my suggestion of what I've heard today.
Thank you. That's a perfect idea.
Pediatrics could take it, surgery. I hope the Human Subjects Committee will be open to this idea because many of us, in my case, I deal with lots and lots and lots and lots of genetic disorders. And if every time I, come up with a project, I have to submit a request to the IRB, that's the main obstacle that I see. And if a generic form or a generic application is acceptable within the guidelines, the proper guidelines, then we can modify it, obviously, based on the specifics of that project and make it easier for us as investigators and also for the RI and the Human Subjects Committee.
I might mention, my Russ Waitman in medical informatics is trying to work with everybody and working with compliance to find out what would be the requirements needed for any type of what we call mining of a data warehouse of any type so that we can, now it's not going to be an easy process, but that's a long run process.
Well, in that vein, there's a lot of IT stuff that's going to come up. One of the things that's going to come up is to figure out how to empty your annual assessments into some box that can be stored and used for your promotion. So you don't have to do everything. Those of you who just went through promotion not too long ago know what an onerous task that is. So there's a lot of IT solutions that we can do. Thank you all. You've been a great audience. I appreciate it.